Hey there, hi there, ho there, you're as welcome as can be. M-A-R-T-Y-P, Doug is in the house, or something like that. Hey, good morning. It's Monday, everybody. Welcome to the show, and nice to have you all here. Lots of people jumping in and nice and early. It's great to have you. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I know my weekends, I spent most of it driving. Drove from here to Omaha and then Omaha and back, and yesterday just hung out by the pool because we had some friends over. But it was a good weekend. Got to see my next door neighbor's young son. He graduated from high school, and we got to go to his graduation party, and we got to go to my youngest son's graduation party. It's just that time of year. So anyway, welcome to the show. I hope you're prepared to get caught up from the weekend. I know I am. I had to do a little reading this morning just to get caught up. Also, I see it's Dawg Knight, Gulf City biker and trash man's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Dawg Knight, Gulf City biker and trash man. Happy birthday to you. So there you go. And welcome, and thanks for the donation. You donated to me on your birthday. That's fantastic. I'll take it. Thank you for sponsoring the show, sir. I appreciate it, and your continuous support of the Dawg Knight Channel. Anyway, so after the intro, we'll get into the news and get caught up from the weekend headlines and a few things that kind of made me chuckle. So I'll see you back in a minute. Beep. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. Okay, stop that music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It is Monday, the 14th of June, 2021. It is the 611th version of this show, and I'm so glad those of you are here bright and early. And I'm gonna try to keep things moving today because I got a lot of catch up news over the weekend, and we'll do the thing. The thing. Yes, that thing. So here we go. I do have my cup of reparations in hand, of course, because I always do have it with me. And let's say good morning to everyone in the chat. First in the chat today was Advocatus Diabli, the Devil's Advocate, and sir, you get the bell. There it is. Good. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. My bell wasn't ringing. Anyway, also good morning, Lord Stanhope. Yes, we are home today, Lord Stanhope. We are here. Good morning, Jonathan Peterson. Good morning, Mike Savage. Blarg. Also, good morning, Attack Alpaca. Dawg Knight, Gulf City biker trash man, who it's his birthday. Also, good morning to Lord Stanhope. Nice to see you. Also, good morning to Renee Mayette. Happy birthday to your 5-year-old too. Oh, well, happy birthday. Let me know your 5-year-old's name. Happy birthday. Also, good morning to San, Paul Farrell, Random American, just in time for you to leave for breakfast. They're letting people to the place near your house. Fantastic. I'm wondering where that is. Good. Enjoy your freedom. Good to have that back, huh? I did say Paul Farrell, didn't I? I think I did, but I'm going to say it again just to be safe. Also, good morning, Jen T, Bubba Hotep, and that's where we are. I see you got your head buzzed. You set for the heat now, sir? Yes. I started shaving my head again. I hadn't done that for a while, but it's summertime and it's hot, and my hair just retains heat even if it's short. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna cut it off, and so I'm gonna keep it this way at least through the summer for the most part. And with this new shave butter I use now, it's a lot easier to shave my head and not cut myself and stuff. So it works out. Anyway, yes, I am glad to be home. Oh, good morning, Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Nice to see you in the house. Yeah, I'm home. So Friday, unfortunately, Lady Boomer and I decided not to stream while we were driving. we were talking about a bunch of other stuff and just thought, we'll just talk. So Friday, what time did we leave? We left about 3 in the afternoon, got in Omaha about 10 o'clock after we stopped in Des Moines at one of my favorite barbecue places in Des Moines, which is called Jethro's, by the way. And then we headed over to Omaha and got a good night's sleep and got up. And then we hung out in the old market area of Omaha. If you're on my Instagram, I got a few pictures of what we did in Omaha besides my nephew's youngest son's graduation party. Just wandered around the old market area. It was a really nice old warehouse district with cobblestone roads and stuff. Really cool area. If you're ever in Omaha, check out the old market. And went to a couple of my favorite places there. Went to Billy Frog's for breakfast. Went to there's a passageway that's a covered passageway of old shops and stuff in there. And then we went to Ted and Wally's, which is my favorite ice cream joint on the planet. They make all their ice cream right there in front of you in the house, and really cool place. And then what else did we do? Oh, we went to this big candy store too. I don't know why we went in there, but and it's one of those candy stores that has like all kinds. I mean, it's like candy from all over the world. And they had, apparently, I didn't know this, but have you ever heard of a marathon bar? Okay, it's like, it used to be like a braided piece of caramel covered in chocolate, and it's about 8 or 9 inches long, and it's really good, just candy bar. I guess they stopped making them in the in like 1982 or 83, somewhere around there, and but they sold the recipe to some company in England, and so now they have I can't even remember, curly something, I don't know. Anyone know what the marathon bar is called in England? But anyway, so they still make them, but they just don't make them in the United States. So they had a couple of those there. So my wife was really into marathon bars when she was a kid. So, good reminder there, Don Keating. It is also President Trump's birthday. I see a lot of people on Twitter wishing our former president happy birthday today. And of course, there were a lot of detractors, but it seems like there's more people wishing him happy birthday than not. But you know how some people are; they just can't help themselves. They're so filled with hate that they just can't, say, I'll just let it go. They just can't let it go. It's a little embarrassing to them sometimes. Anyway, and also it's Flag Day. I've never understood Flag Day. My flag's out every day, so it's not a big deal. But I got the flag behind me here which I often do anyway. But it's Flag Day, and so happy birthday, President Trump. Don Keating, Renee Mayette's 5. Wait, so who's 5-year-old? Was it Renee's 5 year? Who's 5 years old? Did you tell me the name yet? By the way. Well, I guess okay, and then of course Donald Trump. So there we go. Happy birthday for all of you celebrating birthdays today. All right, let's get into it. So our current president, Marathon Snickers are the same thing this side of the Atlantic. Oh, did I say marathon? No. Is it the same? Marathon and Snickers the same? Am I thinking of the right one? What was the one with the twist? Hello, Sir Shaggy. How you doing? Family-owned ice cream joints are the bee's knees. I do declare. Yes, they are. Oh, in this place, yeah. They have they make them like 2 batches at a time. They have 1 batch here going, and then they got the grinder there, and they're pouring the salt around the ice and stuff. I mean, they make it the old-fashioned way. And oh my gosh, Ted and Wally's has the greatest ice cream anywhere, just like an old style creamery place. So really, really good stuff. Anyway, all right. So both our president and our vice president took trips this weekend, and unfortunately, as expected. Okay, Henry. Okay, I got it. That's what I was waiting for. Renee, you didn't tell me what his name is. See if he's there. Henry. Well, I'm not going to do it the tradition of the ranting monkey because I like to sing well. Anyway, Henry, this one is for you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Henry. Happy birthday. to you. Happy birthday, Henry. I take this sip of coffee for you. Happy, happy, happy birthday. All right, fantastic. Okay. Let's talk about the leader of the free world today, because he was off at the G7 summit over in Great Britain over the weekend. And unfortunately, it was just everything you'd expect from Joseph R. Biden, as in Joseph Rahim Biden. Is he muted? Or is it my headphones? I'm believing it'd be your headphones because everyone else seems to be able to hear me. At least I hope so. If I've been talking this whole time with no sound, that would be terrible. Hello, infamous one, by the way. Okay, good. It is you. That was good. Thank you. You loved it so much. Well, fantastic. Happy birthday, Henry. Okay. So the president went to the G7 summit, and are he still there? Isn't he? Did he leave yet? Is he back, or is he just... Anyway, as expected, there were a few gaffes from the president. The 47th annual G7 summit kicked off Friday and ended yesterday. Joe Biden met with the leaders of Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the UK, and the presidents of the European Commission and European Council. Leaders found common ground on a number of issues, including pledging over $1 billion in over 1 billion coronavirus vaccines to poor countries, nations, whatever, vague promises about climate change, and backing minimum global corporate tax rate for multinational companies, except for China. You're not supposed to say that out loud, but except for China. And as standard for Biden, the weekend was gaffe-packed. In response to a question from NBC's Peter Alexander about his plans to take against Vladimir Putin, Biden talked about ongoing military actions in Syria, which he mistakenly confused with Libya 3 times. Oh, is this going to give me an ad? Oh, no, I don't want an ad. Hang on. Oh, how do I turn that down? Right here. There we go. I'm going to skip the ad because I don't need to have that music. By the way, good morning, K Show. You're 5 times 5 over here. I'm not sure what that means, but I think that means I'm okay. All right, let's let the ad go by, and there we go. And I don't know why I have to endure these ads. All right, here we go.
We could work together with Russia, for example, in Libya. We should be opening up
Libya.
The
What are you talking
passes to be able to go through and provide
Libya?
food assistance and vital assistance to a population that's in real trouble. I think I'm going to try very hard to. It is. And by the way, there's places where I shouldn't be starting off and negotiating in public here, but let me say it this way.
Oh my God, this is
Russia has engaged in activities which we believe are contrary to international norms.
Checking his notes.
They have also bitten off some real problems they're going to have trouble chewing on. And for example, the rebuilding of Syria, of Libya, they're there.
Okay.
And as long as they're there without the ability to bring about some order in the region.
Is it just me? Is it just me? Is it just me? Or is this painful to watch? It's not even, there's still a few more seconds. Just listen to how painful this is.
You can't do that very well without providing for the basic economic needs of people. So I'm hopeful that we can find an accommodation where we can save the lives of people for example, in Libya.
Libya again, not what Libya. Why is? Okay, now I can understand. Look. If you get Libya stuck in your head, I guess I can kind of get it, but we're not gonna do that one again. Anyway, that is so painful. Then Biden seemingly admitted that his handlers are having him take questions from a pre-approved list, saying he was worried he was going to get in trouble with staff if I don't do this the right way, after calling on Bloomberg reporter Jennifer Jacobs. Listen to this. Oh, no, we're going to get that ad again. Hang on. I did not want to hear the ad. That's going to let me skip that. There we go. Here, hang on. Here it is.
I'm sorry, I'm going to get in trouble with staff if I don't do this the right way. Jennifer Jacobs, Bloomberg.
So he's calling on, on people on a pre-approved question list. Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. And there he goes again. Thank you, X Baba Hotep, who says, where the hell is his handler? He is going to start a war on accident. You know what? It's a little nerve-wracking, isn't it? It is a little nerve-wracking just seeing him try to he's going to say something. He's going to say something that's going to start a war. You're right. It's going to come out of just one of those Biden blurbs, you know, where he just spits something out. Real quick. So by the way, X Bubba Hotep,
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day.
Thank you for the Streamlab tracker says you are the Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day so far. The top sponsor of the day gets that designation on my Streamlabs thing that pops up and says you're it. So you're it. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show. Sir Shaggy, I'm still sore from the oofing. I was crippled upon seeing the "Can't Wait to Meet Your Wife" clip with Boris. Much cringe. Yeah, I think that one's in here too. So when asked about keeping Donald Trump's steel and aluminum sanctions, Biden told reporters, 120 days, give me a break. Need time before departing the podium. This is the one right here, and that's going to be another ad that I need to turn down. Hang on. Oh, I need to have it turned down. Oh, it'll let me. Oh, they're not showing it. Good. Let's just do this skip. Here it is.
When you're having these conversations with European allies who are very concerned about these sanctions, how do you justify that? And what are your plans to
120 days. Give me a break.
What does that mean? What does that mean? Listen to this
when you're
again.
Having these conversations with European allies who are very concerned about these sanctions, how do you justify that? And what are your plans to
120 days. Give me a break.
Oh, just
need time.
He just looks goofy. What is the hell's going on? Hello, Kiefer Dam. How you doing? Good morning, sir. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so those are the Bangino ones. Then we got here from the Daily Wire. World leaders laughed at President Joe Biden during this roundtable event at the G7 over the weekend after British Prime Minister Boris Johnson had to remind Biden of something that just had happened moments before. Sky News posted a clip on social media which showed Johnson introducing world leaders who had just joined the event. In the clip, Johnson introduced South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who was the only black leader in the room. And after Johnson introduced him, Biden introduced the president of South Africa and pointed at him in a manner that suggested he did not know he had just been introduced. Here's the clip here. Oh, this is a Daily Wire one where you can't hear it. Hang on. I hate every time with a damn Daily Wire. I'm not sure why that works. People of the world, how about no? Give me a break. People of the world, how about no? Yeah, exactly. All right, here's the clip.
To welcome and just say how pleased I am to welcome those who have just joined us, bringing some pretty spectacular weather with them. Prime Minister Modi, President Ramaphosa, President Moon, in just a minute. And the President of South Africa. And the President of South Africa, as I said earlier.
Oh, painful. So he had Boris Johnson had just introduced him, and Biden, and the President of South Africa. Ooh, like what is this hand gesture? What the hell is this? Hello, Johnny Ghostbear. Hello, Attack Alpaca.
And just say how pleased I am to welcome those who have just joined us, bringing some pretty spectacular weather with them. Prime Minister Modi, President Ramaphosa, President Moon, in just a minute. And the President of South Africa. And the President.
Which is President Ramaphosa, who he just literally said
as I said earlier.
a second ago.
I certainly did.
But you get to mention twice. So.
He looks so lost.
Let me tell you, we're delighted. Mr. President, I'm glad to say we're joined by Prime Minister Modi of India, who's on the line.
Okay, anyway, so that was spectacularly awful. Biden was widely mocked online after the incident, with many describing it as an embarrassing moment for the United States. But even either Biden had another dementia moment, or he did not know the name of the only black leader in the room, because he did just notice how he doesn't add the president of South Africa, like he didn't know his name. But I'm not the best with names. I get it, but still, let's see what this one here is real quick. We have another clip. And as soon as it pops up, and is this? Oh, that's the same clip. Anyway, let's get rid of that, because I only want to put it once in the tabs. By the way, every story we go through, as always, will be in the single link in the description down below, where you can get links to every story, every clip, every video, whatever that we go through today will all be in that single tab called the One tab. So anyway, some people are saying this is advanced late-stage dementia. The entire world sees it and laughs nervously as our corporate media cheers Biden for ordering his own ice cream cone. Steve D's, give Joe a break. He has dementia. Yeah. Swearing Kamala already, or Jill for that matter. That's a painful thought myself. And then someone from South Africa says, I vividly recall liberals screaming how Trump was embarrassing us abroad. I don't know about you, but I'd rather my allies and foes view me as arrogant than view me as a fool. But that's just me, and my ego is big. Someone here, holy shit, are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, it was not the only moment during the G7 that Biden appeared to struggle, as he repeatedly referred to Libya as he spoke to the press. Biden, that was when he was talking about Libya instead of Syria. He meant Syria, obviously. Bloomberg reporter Jennifer Jacobs tweeted that aides told her that Biden meant to say Syria instead of Libya. Yeah, we know that now. Anyway, so yeah, Biden was embarrassing, and and then so let's talk a little bit more about this summit. Let's see. Oh, hang on a second here. By the way, remember how awful that orange buffoon was, according to the MSM? All the world curious that they aren't at least having it run off for the biggest embarrassment of the CIC. Okay, maybe it's not. Here's the thing, too. What I keep seeing, everyone's saying, oh, yeah, now they're out there trying to, Biden's the adult in the room who's going to fix all of Trump's messes that he left. I'm sorry. When they're talking about NATO, for example, they were, because Biden made a commitment to NATO over the weekend. It's like, well, does that mean we're going to start paying for everything again? And everyone else is not going to have to put in their fair share? I mean, regardless what you think of NATO, and I think NATO is an important alliance, but I don't think the United States should be the one having to foot the bill for the entire thing, especially since we're the ones who spend the most on our military, and other countries can either buck up or be gone, right? So I think Trump was exactly right as far as NATO goes. It's an important alliance, but y'all need to pay your share into the pot, or at least have some responsibility for your defense and not leave it all on us. So, anyway. Let's see real quick here. Where was I? Just more related to international news or international relations here. Apparently, the U.S. and Russia is going to have a hacker exchange, and that's on the agenda for the Biden-Putin summit. This is the one. Oh God. This one scares me a little bit. Trust me, not a fan of Putin, and I think Trump, as far as being able to keep Putin, look, all the people like say Trump is a Putin puppet, right? But which president of the United States helped the Russians gain billions of dollars through oil sales in Europe? It wasn't President Trump. In fact, the current president is that pipeline is going from Russia to Germany. Yeah, I think the current president is the one who's facilitating that way more than Trump did. Trump, in fact, kind of stuck it to the Russians when it came to that kind of stuff. You know, he smiled and talked nice to Putin, buttered him up, and then, but really, it was not good for the Russians at all. As far as sanctions and things like that. And this president just doing everything the opposite of Trump is turning out to be great for the Russians. So anyway, good morning, by the way, Data Wasteland. Nice to see you. Even Jeffrey Tubin is even Jeffrey Tubin is going well, and that is embarrassing about Biden for this. Jesus Christ, Jeffrey Tubin's back. I guess CNN decided to get a handle on it. Anyway, so let's look at this. This Russian President Vladimir Putin says he's open to an exchange of criminal hackers with the United States. Fan-fucking-tastic. American President Joe Biden said he would raise the issue with Putin on extraditing Russian hackers wanted in the U.S. at their summit on Wednesday, and Putin appears willing to reciprocate. If we agree to extradite criminals, then of course Russia will go for it, but only if the other side, in this case, the United States, agrees to the same thing, Putin says. So are there some criminal hackers in the United States just getting into Russia's business and stealing and wreaking havoc in Russia? I'm curious what he has. Anyway, there's little doubt that cyber attacks using ransomware on major U.S. companies and infrastructure threaten the economy by causing enormous disruptions in supply chains. The recent hacking of meat processing giant JBS caused massive supply dislocations across the country. Another recent hack targeted at the Colonial Pipeline and disrupted fuel supplies up and down the East Coast. It's unknown how involved the Russian president is in the execution of these attacks. It's known that he profits from the illegal hacking. Even if the Kremlin isn't totally responsible, some of the hacker groups have ties to Russian intelligence. But in Russia, it's hard to tell if rogue agents are in the business for themselves or part of a coordinated intelligence effort to undermine the U.S. economy, according to Reuters. Hello, Mr. Yes. The White House has said that Biden will bring up ransomware attacks emanating from Russia at the meeting. That issue is in the spotlight after a cyber attack disrupted North American and Australian operations of meat packer JBS USA. A Russia-linked hacking group was behind that attack, and a U.S. source familiar with the matter said last week. Asked if Russia would be prepared to find and prosecute cyber criminals, Putin said Russia's behavior here would depend on formal agreements being reached by Moscow and Washington. Well, I'm sure old Sundowner Joe will be completely effective in those talks. When he says hacker, he's talking about someone in the sugarcane fields chopping down sugarcane. Anyway, meanwhile, some U.S. lawmakers want Biden to give Putin an ultimatum on the hacking, believing that the Russian president could stop the attacks if he wanted to. I equate it with a common burglar. We put locks on our house, but you also want to make sure you're catching the burglar and punishing the burglar, Senate Homeland Security Chair Gary Peters said from Politico, but Senate Intelligence Chair Mark Warner said Biden can make a point of reminding Putin at the meeting that the U.S. can and does deploy its cyber weapons when threatened. The Russians are very well aware of our capabilities, he said. As one example, Warner pointed to a first-of-its-kind offensive digital strike that the U.S. military cyber command launched on an infamous Russia propaganda factory, the Internet Research Agency, knocking it offline during and after the 2018 midterms. The operations prevented the troll farm from spreading disinformation as Americans went to the polls. Well, the Russians spreading disinformation. You mean like, did they buy some more Facebook ads? Good God. Hello, Dad. Oh, I said to Dad then. And hello, Robert Chalk. Remember when the CIA admitted having all their hacking tools stolen and having the ability to themselves hack and leave Russian footprints behind? Yeah, I do remember that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is gonna be embarrassing. Anyway, and more international affairs. Orban, who's the is he the Russian or no Hungarian president, said migrant armies are banging on Europe's doors. Hungarian President Viktor Orban has warned that migrant armies are banging on Europe's doors as the coronavirus pandemic recedes. Speaking at Cashapp Radio, the national conservative leader said that the world is now going through the age of epidemics and migration, and that the latter issue is rising in importance after being largely overshadowed by the Wuhan virus through 2020 and much of 2021. Prime Minister Orban warned that migrant armies are banging on Europe's doors, on the doors that seal off migration routes on land and sea, a reference to the fact that illegal immigration pressures are not only increasing along the European Union land borders, but also at sea, with migrant taxi ships operated by non-government organizations have been stepping up their activities on the so-called Central Mediterranean route to Italy. Spain's Canary Islands off the coast of Africa have also been inundated with thousands of illegal migrants arriving by sea despite the pandemic. Just beyond the European Union, the illegal migrants are also banging at virtually every open door along the sea border, with the United Kingdom being able to travel to the former EU member state from France, largely unhindered by the French authorities and not hindered at all by the hapless British authorities, who not only never turn boat migrants back, but even go out of their way to meet them in French waters to help bring them to British soil, according to reports. So it seems like some of the European Union is having similar issues that we're having over here. And, it's they got to figure that shit out. Anyway, good morning, because is in the house. Nice to see you. And I'm glad you're here. Also, good morning, Tyler F. Before I move on, thank you, X Bubba Hotep. And hang on a second here. Did I see this right? I can't see this. Hang on a second. Why does that say 50? Oh, that's okay. Anyway, X Bubba Hotep, thank you for the bullet, aka 556, who says disinformation during an election, like Trump clearing peaceful protesters for a photo op at a church. Yeah, we're getting to that one. Y'all heard about that it's officially not what happened. And but some people are still ignoring that's not what happened. Anyway, good morning, Haig. How you doing? Nice to see you. Hello, Cindy, there in the background. I'm sure you're there because I know that's how it works in that household. One other international news thing here. The family of an American journalist who's been imprisoned has urged Joe Biden to bring him home. Dan Fenster, arrested and imprisoned in a brutal Burmese facility. The family of an American journalist unjustly imprisoned in Burma after his newspaper critical reporting on human rights abuses is urging the Biden administration to take action in order to bring him home. Danny Fenster, the managing editor of Burmese newspaper Frontier Myanmar, was detained in May by authorities as he prepared to board a surprise flight home to his family. The Michigan native was attempting to flee the country after the Burmese military overthrew democratically elected President Aung San Suu Kyi on February 1st. Brian Fenster, Danny's older brother, told the Washington Free Beacon that the State Department, Congress, and others have fired on all cylinders in their efforts to bring Danny home, but his family said it would be a major morale boost to have the statement directly from President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris. We've not heard from the Biden-Harris administration, he said. Public statement from them would go an incredibly long way for us as a family. Fenster's newspaper provided critical reporting for human rights organizations tracking abuses committed by the Burmese military. Since 2016, the military has committed genocide against thousands of Rohingya Muslims, a minority group within Burma. Olivia Enos, a policy advisor at the Heritage Foundation, said Fenster and his outlets reporting provided top resources for human rights watchdogs following the conflicts. Now, this is one of those things. And we hope that they're able to get him back into the States. This is one of those things that you're curious because they have some right-leaning ties, and is the Biden administration going to look at that, or are they going to look at it as, hey, we have an American who's imprisoned unjustly, who's a journalist? So I don't know. It seems like one of those things that President Trump seemed fairly adept at, and I hope that they are, maybe just maybe the Biden administration will make a strong statement about this and see if they can get this man back. But if you want to read more about it, that story will be in the links down below. Hello, Chicago Mike. What's happening? All right, let's keep going here because I got a lot of these to get through. So we have another case of Arkansas, or at least it seems like it. This is something you just never expect. It's sudden and unfortunate, and I really feel bad for this guy. Before I do that, though, good morning, Wikipedia snippet and hypnagogic monk. So the reporter who broke the story in 2016 of the Bill Clinton Loretta Lynch secret tarmac meeting has been found dead in apparent suicide. I'm just letting this sink in. This isn't a dead space. I'm just letting it sink in. Reporter who broke story of 2016 Bill Clinton Loretta Lynch secret tarmac meeting found dead of an apparent suicide. Birmingham TV anchor and veteran newsman Christopher Sine was found dead Saturday morning of an apparent suicide, police said, after receiving a call at 8:13 a.m. Hoover and Alabama police and fire personnel arrived to find the 45-year-old Sine dead, which Hoover Police Lieutenant Keith Casabla said is being investigated as a suicide, according to Alabama.com. I think that's something like that. Sine was a longtime reporter for several local ABC affiliates and had been the evening anchor on ABC 3340 since 2017. Our deepest sympathy is shared with Chris's loving family and close friends, Sinclair Broadcast Group Vice President and General Manager Eric S. Land said. We have all lost a revered colleague whose indelible imprint will forever serve as a hallmark of decency, honesty, and journalistic integrity. We can only hope to carry on Chris's legacy. May his memory be a blessing. I am so curious right now of his cause of death, and because the Clintons are the most honest and most steadfast, forthright family in the nation, and there's certainly never anything bad to say about them. But this string of coincidences is just what's the word? I was going to say unfathomable, but they are certainly just coincidences. In June 2016, while he was working as a reporter and morning anchor at ABC affiliate KNXV TV in Phoenix, Sine broke the story of a secret tarmac meeting that occurred between former President Bill Clinton and then Attorney General Loretta Lynch. The meeting came days before then FBI Director James Comey announced the Bureau would not recommend charges against then Democratic nominee for President Hillary Clinton for her use of a private email server while Secretary of State, although he called her handling of classified information extremely careless and highly illegal. Anyway, both Lynch and former President Clinton claimed that the email investigation did not come up during their meeting. I'm sure it didn't. I am positive they never mentioned the fact that the presidential candidate was being there was an investigation by the FBI, and I'm sure they never once it never even crossed their mind to talk about it. They were talking about grandchildren and yoga and other Instagram and some waterfalls and shit. They were not talking about the investigation that was prominent in her life at the time. No, the former president of the United States and the Attorney General of the United States did not talk about the biggest investigation going on in the country at the time at all, especially since it was about his wife, who was the candidate for president of the United States. There is absolutely no way they were talking about that. I guarantee it. They did not say a single word. It never came up. They didn't even think about it. They were comparing private jets and what these stewardesses look like, but not that Bill Clinton would ever look at stewardesses, and they were just nothing at all about Nothing at all about. And the on-plane recording equipment was not turned off. They have recordings of everything they said, and there was nothing at all about an email investigation. And that's all I have to say about that. I do not know anything about the Clintons, and I have never, ever been sad about them. So, yeah, there's a couple of the details you can read yourself. I'm safe to say anyway. Let's move on. Speaking of the FBI, so everyone should know this guy. This is Peter Strzok, everyone's favorite FBI agent on the planet, one of the most honest and faithful FBI agents. Well, anyway, apparently he had some notes that he had been writing, and they were talking about, did you hear this thing over the weekend, or maybe it was last Friday? They were talking about how some of the Justice Department and or the intelligence agencies had been asking for information from Apple regarding some communications that Adam Schiff and what's the other guy, the Dopey Ken guy, the Swalwell, the one who was shipping the Chinese spy. And they're saying, oh yeah, the Trump Justice Department was investigating their enemies. Well, there may have been another reason they were investigating those people. Peter Strzok's texts show how the Trump administration was not alone in suspecting Democrats. The Trump Justice Department was not alone in suspecting that congressional Democrats leaked sensitive information to reporters about the Russia probe, according to text messages reviewed by the Washington Free Beacon. Peter Strzok, the top FBI investigator on the inquiry into Russian interference in the 2016 election, sent text messages to colleagues in March 2017, speculating that Democrats from the House Intelligence Committee and on the so-called Gang of Eight were behind the media leaks. The messages could shed new light on the New York Times report that prosecutors subpoenaed Apple for metadata from the phones of Representative Adam Schiff, Pencil Neck, and Eric Swalwell, Chinese spy Ken, as part of a leak hunt. Schiff is chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, and Swalwell has served on the panel since 2015. Prosecutors sought the lawmakers' records in order to ascertain the sources for the stories published in 2017 and 2018 regarding possible leaks between Trump associates and Russians. Prosecutors impaneled a grand jury as part of the probe, which was quietly closed without charges. Schiff and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi decried the report, saying that Trump weaponized the Justice Department to investigate his political opponents. Oh no!
How dare you?
As if the Obama Justice Department didn't do that shit. Anyway, but Strzok's FBI text messages show that even investigators scrutinizing Trump suspected that Democrats were behind the two separate leaks to reporters. Strzok wrote in March 17, 2017, that's hard to say twice, of a leak of documents to an unnamed reporter who he said, quote, has great sources on the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, especially the minority side. Democrats were the minority in Congress at the time. Strzok also suggested in a message on March 23, 2017, that Democrats on the Gang of Eight were sources for a CNN story. Judge Joe Brown had a funny name for CNN. Oh, he was, I don't know if you remember who Judge Joe Brown is, but he was doing an interview with Kwame, what's the dude that, he's taking the internet by storm. I can't think of his name. Anyway, Kwame Brown, and he is called the Crying Negro Network because John Lemon's always crying on there. Anyway, the story about the Russia probe. CNN reported the same morning that U.S. officials said the FBI had information that Trump associates may have communicated with Russian operatives to coordinate the release of information damaging to the Hillary Clinton campaign, which, of course, they did not do. But anyway, Strzok's note said, hey, they think there's a leaker in the House Intelligence Committee on the minority side. does anyone here have any idea or any inkling that or any doubt, let's put it that way, any doubt that the old pencil neck or Swallowswell would leak information to the press from a committee? Like, can you fathom that? Because I feel like that's almost a given that they would do that because they're lying, cheating bastards. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay. And then here, I'm a journalist in the Trump administration tried to secretly obtain tens of thousands of my emails. This lady, Barbara Starr, it's interesting that this came up today too, because, they were talking about in the New York Times story where, where they were they were trying to get metadata from Apple on those two. Well, also, I don't know I'm curious if Barbara Starr is one of these reporters that broke that story, because now she's complaining that, now it's an appropriate time for me to speak out on the Trump administration's months-long effort to secretly gain access to tens of thousands of my 2017 work and personal emails from my work and personal phone records. On Monday, senior personnel from CNN, the New York Times, and the Washington Post are scheduled to meet with Attorney General Merrick Garland to seek a full explanation for why a total of 8 reporters from the 3 news organizations were the subject of secret efforts to gain their records. Speaking for myself, I don't know what the government was looking for when it snuck into my life. I am not the subject of an investigation, and there's no suggestion of wrongdoing, but as a CNN journalist myself, and my newsroom clearly were being used as a tool by the Trump Justice Department. All of CNN is in this together. We have each other's back always. Well, I'm curious if they did do that. Did that happen? Anyway, President Biden says the seizing of reporters' records will be stopped under his administration. Really? Because, your boss, when you were the vice president, it certainly wasn't above him doing this kind of stuff. We know for a fact that he was, they were in, what's her name? The CBS reporter that now she's an independent. There's a couple people that they did this on the other. I don't think the U.S. government should be, trying to spy on journalists unless there is a criminal investigation. But I'm curious if old Barbara here is one of those reporters that the House Intelligence Committee was leaking to. Just curious. I'm just curious. Not that they should be doing that, but anyway, interesting. She shows a picture with her with really dark hair here, and then she's got a kind of light hair here. I'm curious why she does that. Anyway, all right, let's keep going. Now this is if you're into New York politics at all. There's all kinds of mayoral candidates going on, and today, the New York Post is featuring one that is backed and endorsed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, which should scare you right off the bat. But anyway, good morning. Always alone, or always lost and nothing else, aka alone. Does FBI director Chris Wray have kids? If so, they're probably Antifa simps. Yeah, I don't know. It's good. That's probably a fairly accurate assessment there, though. Anyway, now this Maya Wiley, Mayor hopeful Maya Wiley, has been endorsed by Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, public advocate Jumaine Williams, and other fellow Democrats who regularly decry the power of special interests and big money in politics, even though she has for decades has been bankrolled by hedge fund manager, billionaire, George Soros. Soros, the 90-year-old liberal kingmaker, often criticized by Republicans and others for his outsized political influence, has ties to Wiley dating back to the 1990s and recently pumped $500,000 into an independent expenditure group backing Wiley's City Hall campaign on top of direct donations. If we don't come together as a movement, we will get a New York City built by and for billionaires, and we need a city for and by working people, said Ocasio-Cortez, a self-described Democratic socialist representing parts of Queens and the Bronx, in endorsing Wiley earlier this month. So we will vote for Maya, #1. And then I think they do they do ranked choice voting in New York City elections? I don't know. Anyway, Wiley, a former MSNBC contributor and legal counsel to Mayor Bill de Blasio, tweeted the quote last week and soliciting campaign donations to further stock a war chest already directly and indirectly aided by Soros. A spokesman for Soros confirmed to the Post that the deep-pocketed investor has contributed $500,000 to the independent expenditure group 1199 for Maya, a joint venture with 1199 SEIU, an influential healthcare workers union that has endorsed Wiley. Last week, the union announced a $1.2 million ad buy backing Wiley, paid for by the 1199 for Maya. So I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, those should be sending off warning bells throughout the city. Because the Soros-backed attorney generals and the Soros-backed, super leftists, is Maya Wiley going to be another, what's the name of the lady, mayor of Chicago? Is she going to be another one of her? But anyway, in 2002, Wiley founded the Center for Social Inclusion. Now that just the name of the group alone should scare you. The Center for Social Inclusion, an organization dedicated to ending racial inequities through structural reform, as Wiley wrote on her profile. Lightfoot, Lori Lightfoot. Both that group and the Tides Foundation, a bicoastal progressive activist organization for which Wiley has additionally worked, also has been backed in part by hefty open society grants, according to releases from the philanthropic group. Meanwhile, Harlan Mandel, Wiley's longtime partner, serves as CEO of the Media Development Investment Fund, yet another organization funded by Soros Open Society. Ahead of the Democratic primary election, which saw early voting begin Saturday, Wiley has faced flack for several of her stances on public safety and policing. She was blasted by the NYPD unions for a campaign ad which she said cops don't think her and her fellow black New Yorkers deserve to breathe. Really? Do they? Is that what they think? That's not good. And gave a non-committal answer when asked on the debate stage if she would take guns away from police. Well, that would be effective. I just got to tell you. Anyway, amid a deluge of criticism, Wiley later tried to amend her answer, insisting that she did not intend to strip cops of their service weapons. It's also not the first time Wiley has been accused of self-contradiction. She has been slammed as a hypocrite for Mandel's financial contributions toward private security patrolling her Brooklyn neighborhood. Oh, she's one of those. Defund the police, take away their guns, but we'll have private security around where we live anyway. But yeah, another Soros-backed candidate that you should avoid if you're in New York. I don't know if anyone here is in New York, but hey, let's see. All right, we already talked about Biden and his mentions of Syria 3 times. We're going to skip that one, but there's another article about that. Speaking of, well, it's interesting. Ron DeSantis has had some words about Biden. He torches Biden for being passive on the world stage, leaving middle America behind. Should we just watch it? There's just going to have a big ad in the middle of it. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis slammed President Joe Biden on Sunday immediately after Biden spoke at the G7 conference, saying that America's enemies were watching as Biden displayed passivity and low energy on the world stage. Low energy? Oh, come on. That's not fair. No one would think of him as Sleepy Biden, would they? Here's the clip. Here's him talking with Maria Bartiromo. Oh, is this? Oh God, Daily Wire. I hate you. I hate you, Daily Wire. Okay, you need to fix your embedded sound on your videos, and I don't know, or maybe it's just me. I don't know. Here, let's listen on this one.
DeSantis now gets some reaction to what we just heard. Governor, thanks very much for being here and standing by throughout our live coverage of the G7 closeout meeting. Your reaction to what you heard from the president.
Well, Maria, I think it's quite a contrast from his predecessor. I think that President Biden is someone that's much more passive on the world stage, not nearly as assertive as some.
Passive? He is sleeping. He's not passive. He just sleep.
Somebody like Donald Trump was. I think his energy level is obviously much lower. And so I think that's just something that people are sizing up. I think that our adversaries are watching that. I didn't hear very much in the way of holding China accountable for their role in covering.
Yeah, come on, Ron. China? Holding China, what? Accountable for what? He gets paid by China. Okay, I'll shut up.
The origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. I think that's absolutely essential that China be held accountable for their role in that, as well as any bureaucrats in the United States who may have been covering up. But, you know, they were talking economically a lot about other countries. He was talking about reducing energy production worldwide. And I couldn't help but think, you know, here in the United States, you know, he's leaving a lot of people behind. Look at all the workers he left behind by canceling the Keystone XL pipeline. Those were thousands and thousands of very good jobs. And then also think about family budgets with the sharp increase in gas prices and then the overall budding inflation that we're seeing that's being fueled by his big spending policy. So I think that his performance probably played well with European elites. Not sure that there was much in it for middle America.
All right, so there you go, Ron DeSantis. Is it just me, or is Ron DeSantis just becoming that big name in future national politics? I know a lot of people are. The media goes after him relentlessly, so I got a feeling. You know what the funny thing about DeSantis too is, we've said this before, okay? DeSantis, the Trump crowd, the people who are really Trump, pro-Trump, like Ron DeSantis. But so do the other conservatives who are not maybe so high on Trump, but they still like DeSantis. And he's one of those guys who can bridge the gap between those two camps. And he is just brilliant on his feet when he's talking, when people ask him questions. And it's almost like, how like Trump could just rip reporters to their face. But for some reason, obviously sometimes it came off as just mean because that's kind of Trump's style, right? But DeSantis can do it and smile and put them in their place and make everyone else's jaws just go, oh. It's kind of funny. Anyway, hello, People's Front of Canada. Nice to see you here. By the way, 35 people in the room. Hit the like button if you like what we're doing. Hit the share arrow and all that stuff. And if you want to do donations, it's somewhere in the chat over there or whatever you're doing. You know how to do that. It shows up somewhere there. You guys know what to do. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm getting to like DeSantis. Anyway, let's see. Oh, there's a story about Pelosi talking to Dana Bash. This is CNN. Nancy Pelosi got a little snippy with Dana Bash on the weekend. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi refused to say Sunday whether or not she thought it was time for the Senate filibuster to go away. No, it's not time. We have now we have 3 Democratic senators who have no interest in getting rid of the filibuster. The Senate is made to take things slowly, and also you just don't want to have to run. You don't want this roughshod thing happening. Just because one party's in power doesn't mean that they should get everything they want automatically, especially when it's just a slight majority. We're not a democracy. We're a representative republic. And, we should have a body that slows things down and makes it harder to pass things, because just because 50.1% of the people want something doesn't mean they should get it. Anyway, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Pelosi was quick to block CNN anchor Dana Bash's attempts to get a comment on the subject, saying simply, "I don't talk about the Senate rules." Here's the clip. Maybe.
But, a lot of people in your caucus say the entire Democratic agenda is being held up because of the filibuster. Do you think the filibuster should go away?
Well, you know what? As you know, I don't talk about Senate rules, and I don't want them messing with our rules.
Just wanted to give it a try.
But,
All right.
But I do think that instead of talking about the filibuster, as I say to my members, just talk about the issues. Gun violence prevention, climate initiatives, issues that relate to the Equality Act in this month of Pride, ending discrimination against the LGBTQ community, the violence against women. Name what are the issues that we care about. That's really the discussion. And why do we not have them? Well, that's more of interest to people. There are kitchen table issues about the cost of prescription drugs. We want to give the secretary the power to negotiate for lower prices. If that needs 60 votes, it might not happen.
So let's talk about January 6th.
Okay, whatever. I don't even know why I brought that one up. Anyway, let's move on. I'm not going to go through this one, but this is a good article on Kamala Harris is an embarrassment that the media can't spin away, and that is so true. Unicorn cupcakes. Where to begin? One of the most alarming features of the current occupier administration is that both the president and vice president are absolutely in over their heads, and neither is able to hide that fact whenever they are on camera. It's as if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are in a race to the bottom. With each public appearance this past week, alleged Veep Harris won. You know, I am going to go through this one because there's a couple good clips here that you've seen already, but I just liked watching them. Bless their hearts, behind-the-scenes puppet masters are controlling this administration have yet to learn that they should keep both Biden and Harris as far the hell away from cameras as possible. True, they just can't keep them both in the basement. The COVID panic train has left the building, but they could greatly limit the exposure for both of them. Tell the public that they're hunkered down and working on matters of national security or something. My magnificently acerbic colleague Vodka Pundit wrote about one of Madame Cackle's most recent on-camera debacles in his Insanity Rap on Wednesday. I'll give you the video first, then a bit of Green's commentary. Here it goes.
Just quickly put
You've
a button.
seen this?
Okay. Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, you know, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
I haven't been to Europe.
Wait a minute.
I don't.
And as I said before, who's we? We've been to the border. Well, Kamala Harris was at the border in 2018 protesting Trump, right? But she hasn't been to the border yet anyway. Anyway, so here's the gem from Vodka Boat. Insanity Rap hates it. We really do when we're forced to inflict yet another cringe-worthy testicle-shrinking Kamala Harris clip on you. It's important to remind yourself of what an off-putting, ignorant idiot the woman a heartbeat away from the presidency is, especially since that heart is 78 years old. Nobody likes this woman, not even her own party. She went from being the upper echelon of the crowded Democratic field in the summer 2019 to out of the race in December. Democrats found her so distasteful they threw her from the top of the 2020 Democratic presidential primary mountain before 2020 even got here. Harris' precipitous fall from the top tier, as she called it, of the Democratic field began almost the moment she arrived there. Apparently unaware of the purpose of the presidential primary debates, her Kamalaness did not enjoy being challenged by her opponents. She would become very snippy and condescending, and it was, in classic Harris fashion, painful to watch. As we know now, Democrats were merely looking for a nominee who could bark Trump bad pandemic on a loop, which Biden handlers had decided was the most they could expect of him off leash. After Democratic voters saw Harris's cranky side, they said, "Oh, hell no." Some PR people must have attempted to give Harris a personality makeover once she was tapped as Biden's running mate. All they managed to teach her was to smile excessively every time she gets irritated when being asked a question. The condescension still oozes out of her every pore, which makes her smile over compensation. Even a bigger train wreck. Here's another one here.
¿Cómo le responde usted a él?
I've said I'm going to go to the border. And when are you going to the border, Vice President?
Yeah, this is from this weekend. She's talking to she's being interviewed by the Univision anchor.
¿Cómo le responde usted a él?
I've said I'm going to go to the border. And
When are you going to the border, Vice President?
the administration has asked... I'm not finished.
Oh! Yeah, a little snippy there. Yeah, that's not good. Now, here's the thing. Some people are saying that the reason people don't like Harris's answers and are showing little patience with her is because she's a black woman and black women don't get a second chance. To which I say, bullshit. She's the Vice President of the United States. She got to be able to answer questions and got to be able to answer the right way. But anyway,
I've said I'm going to the border.
now look at her.
And also, if we are going to deal with the problems at the border, we have to deal with the problems that cause people to go to the border, to flee to the border. And that is the root causes. So my first trip as Vice President of the United States was to go, in terms of a foreign trip, to Guatemala, to be on the ground there, to address and to
tell the Guatemalan people what to do. Don't come. Same line she
to be informed of
anyway.
The root causes. Why are the people of Guatemala leaving?
Do you have a date? ¿Tiene una fecha para su viaje a la frontera para ver la situación con sus propios ojos?
I will keep you posted.
I have to...
Anyway, so she ain't going to the border. She ain't gonna be at the border anyway. And anyway, this just goes on and on about that. Anyway, let's keep going here. She ain't even black by her own design, but most of her life, pre-2020. Just saying. Well, she did go to a HBCU. Okay, she did go to Howard University, but you know, I remember when she was first sworn into the Senate, they made a big deal about her being the first Indian American to be sworn into the Senate, and didn't even mention that she was half black. So anyway, now this is the mayor. This is the new mayor of where's he? McAllen, Texas. Latino Republican who won mayorship in a town that's 85% Latino, says that Latinos, and notice he didn't say Latinx, he said Latinos, because Latinos hate that Latinx bullshit, are opening their eyes. McAllen Mayor-elect Javier Villalobos, the former chairman of Hidalgo County GOP in South Texas, told Fox News on Saturday that the Latino voters are opening their eyes after voting Democrat for a long time. They have the interview here. Let's just let him talk. This is 5 minutes long. And it's fucking Daily Wire. You know what? I'm going to just put the link. You can, here, we'll put the YouTube link out there, and I'm not going to even play it because Daily Wire is the thorn in my side. So that link will be there. I'll just read the story here.
Earthquake implications here in McAllen, Texas. They have elected.
Shut the hell up. You'll have, if you want to watch the actual interview. He said, well, during the past election, it's amazing what's happening here in South Texas, Villalobos said. I genuinely think the Hispanic community is very conservative, yet traditionally they have voted Democrat. It's amazing what happened this past election. I think our numbers as far as conservative voters were up substantially. We finally have competition in South Texas, so I think it's an open up the doors for a lot of people. Down in South Texas, it's a little bit different. Villalobos later added, like I said, traditionally Democrat. However, there are a lot of individuals, including older individuals, that have forever voted Democrat, are opening up their eyes, accepting different ideas, both social and economic, and that's amazing. We will have some. I always tell everybody, competition is good. It has been traditional Democrats of South Texas that have been ignored a lot of the times. It won't happen anymore. We expect next election that we will have the same type of results. We have candidates now running for Congress when a lot of times it was very difficult to field candidates down here, especially local elections. I think things are going to be changing. So cool. Good for them. I hope they're Republicans that are are good guys, though, because not every Republican's a good guy either. But it's anytime you can get away from the Democrats. I wish Charlie were here because he would be yelling at me right now, but that's okay. Good morning, Gamer Valine. How are you, dear? Nice to see you on the show. All right, let's see how much time I got. I got 15 minutes. The Republican National Committee said they might skip network TV presidential debates in 2024. Interesting thing. The Republican National Committee might skip network presidential debates if they aren't dramatically overhauled before the next election, says David Bossie, president of Citizens United. We don't need to count on just the networks, Bossie told Hugh Hewitt on his radio show. Politico reported, there are so many opportunities out there, so many platforms out there that we can go to and partner with to get the message out. Bossie said some debate moderators spend more time grandstanding ain't that the truth? Some debate moderators spend more time grandstanding than digging down on issues important to voters. They're asking questions really not to impact primary Republican voters, but to have gotcha questions and answers for the general election debate, because they all want to see their questions and answers played during the general election. With the president of Citizen United, or said the president of Citizen United, which says in its website, dedicated to restoring our government to citizen control. You know what? I think they should rehaul the debates. And let's see. Now, I see what they got here. The two parties have long partnered with the Commission on Presidential Debates, which has overseen the debate since 1988, but things went south last election, and Republicans began to question whether they should continue to defer to the commission. The first presidential debate was a debacle. Both Republican Donald Trump and Democrat Joe Biden interrupted each other endlessly. Moderator Chris Wallace of Fox News lost all control, letting the September 29th discourse devolve into a schoolyard scrap. The second debate got blown up after Trump tested positive for COVID-19 and then spent 3 days in the hospital, even though the then president pushed hard for the debate, with the CPD finally rejecting his request. The CPD, which sets schedule with input from both campaigns, decided the second contest should go virtual, but Trump quickly shot that down and said he wouldn't play. The final debate occurred October 22nd, just 11 days before Election Day, after millions of Americans had already voted. But it was oddly Wallace who took the most heat for his moderation of a presidential debate. The Fox News host, a registered Democrat, drew fierce criticism from what appeared to be bias in the debate in the favor of Biden. Some critics said Wallace appeared to let Biden interrupt Trump, would jump in and to rein in Trump when the president tried to interrupt himself. Conservatives also ripped C-SPAN journalist Steve Scully for alleged bias after it was revealed he had sent a questionable tweet and then lied about it in the post. Scully asked former Trump aide Anthony Scaramucci if he should respond to a critical remark Trump made about him. And then Trump ripped NBC's Kristen Welker, the moderator for the final presidential debate, as totally partisan. In an interview with Fox and Friends, Trump said he would prefer a more neutral party to moderate the debate. Kristen Welker is terrible, yada, yada, yada. So it'll be interesting. I think that whole debate thing should be, the commission should allow one side to choose their debate venue and moderator. They should allow the other side to choose their debate venue and the moderator. And then I don't know if you can find a neutral moderator, but they should find a different way to do it. Anyway, let's see. Oh, did you hear about this? So the Biden, they're closing Trump's office for victims of illegal alien crime, and they're opening an office for illegal alien support. On Friday, as Joe Biden bumbled his way around the G7 summit, his administration was hard at work disassembling more Trump-era immigration policies. During the first week in office, President Trump created the Victims of Immigration Crime Engagement Office, aka VOICE, within the Department of Homeland Security. For the first time, victims of crimes committed by illegal aliens were given the acknowledgement and support they deserved. That support has now come to a screeching halt with the closure of VOICE. According to the AP, voice is to be replaced by the newly created Victims Engagement and Services Line, or VESSEL. VESSEL's focus is to provide methods for people to report abuse and mistreatment in immigration detention centers and a notification system for lawyers and others with a vested interest in immigration causes. So they're going from victims to, well, I guess they consider the immigrants victims too. In other words, instead of voice focusing on support for the victims of illegal aliens, VESSEL will now support the illegal aliens themselves. Stephen Miller obviously ripped that idea, and you know, you can get a little more details. There's a whole section here on why voice was originally created, because again, they were trying to give voice to people who were victims of crime by illegals, and you know, be able to help them. A lot of times, if it was a simple case, for example, of a car accident where someone gets injured or killed that's illegal with no insurance, it was an office that could help people with things like that. But all kinds of victim crimes. So they're closing that office because that's not important to the Biden administration. Their biggest push is to how they can help people come to America, and whether legal means or not. Anyway, all right, let's keep going here. We already know about critics' thumbs down to Kamala's answers on the trip to Mexico and Guatemala. But if you want more info on that, let's see here. Oh, even Abby Phillips. Listen to this.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making.
I've said I'm going to go to the border. And when are you going to the border, Vice President? The administration has asked. I'm not finished. I've said I'm going to the border.
It's just a little cringeworthy, and I know that her allies in the White House and elsewhere are watching it and just kind of wondering what is going on. How poorly did this go for her first foray onto the world stage?
Well, it certainly didn't go the way the White House wanted it to go.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
On CNN. She got criticized.
I don't understand the point that you're making.
There we go.
I've said I'm going to go to the border.
Stop.
And when are you going to?
Okay. There we go. Fine.
To the border, Vice President. The administration has asked.
I'm just going to get rid of it. Let's just get rid of it. I'll leave that there. But CNN criticized her even. But all kinds of media is criticizing her over a trip. And then just an editorial, Biden's illegal immigration welcome mat caused a disaster at the border. Well, duh, because even the president of Guatemala was saying, hey, you know, it's your fault that people are leaving Guatemala because you set out the welcome wagon. I'm surprised you're not handing out bottled water and snacks as they cross the border. Anyway, you can read that editorial on your own. I'm running out of time, so let me just tell you what's in the tabs that I'm not getting to today. YouTube banned Senator Ron Johnson for discussing early treatment of COVID-19. You know, this is, again, another time where YouTube is not allowing information that may not be the mainstream information that people are getting. Again, they censored a U.S. senator. The powerful video sharing company removed a video of a speech given by Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin and banned him from uploading new videos for at least 7 days. The action took place several months after YouTube removed 2 videos of testimony given at a hearing he hosted of the Senate's Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs on the topic of early treatment of COVID-19, which there's no protocols from our own CDC and National Institute of Health, by the way. Still, there's no protocols on treatment, which there probably should be. They haven't gotten around to it for whatever reason. In the video, YouTube censors are prohibiting the public from viewing. Johnson took bureaucrats in the Trump and Biden administration to task for not only ignoring but working against robust research on the use of cheap generic drugs to be repurposed for the early treatment of COVID. While large pharmaceutical companies and their allies and government bureaucracies and the World Health Organization have focused their research on finding new treatments for the novel coronavirus, some doctors and studies have argued that for the use of drugs that have been on the market for decades, you know what those are, and the patents for the patents for the drugs have expired, meaning they are now manufactured by multiple companies who would share in the profit. Therefore, trials involving the drugs have to be funded by the government and private donors. But you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly which drugs I'm talking about. Ivermectin and hydrochloroquine. Anyway, I don't know if you heard that. You know what? I'm going to skip this one for now because we're going to finish with that. Oh, apparently there's a shooter in Austin, at-large shooter in Austin, Texas, and they're not giving a description. Why is Austin media refusing to release the description of at-large Austin shooter? Oh, of course we know why. Early Saturday morning, a gunman shot and injured at least 19 people outside an Austin, Texas bar. 6th Street in Austin, Texas was crowded with post-COVID revelers on Friday night, where a man described as black with a thin build and dreadlocks opened fire outside the bar. At least 13 people were taken into the hospital. Of the 13 wounded, 11 were in stable condition, 2 critical. On Saturday afternoon, the Austin Police Department updated its website to say that one suspect is in custody while another is still at large. Early in the day, police released this description of the suspect. The suspect remains at large. It is unknown if there is one or multiple suspects involved. There is one suspect described as a black male with dreadlocks wearing a black shirt and a skinny build. The area will be closed for the extended amount of time to process the crime scene. Investigators are collecting and reviewing camera footage and surveillance video. That description, black male dreadlocks, was not only in an official announcement by the APD, but it was all over social media as well as on Saturday. But the city's flagship newspaper, the Austin American-Statesman, is refusing to release that description of the suspect, a dangerous mass shooter who is still on the run because, you guessed it, it would be racist to do so. The newspaper explained in an editor's note appended to its main story on the shooting. Here's the editor's note. Police have only released a vague description of the suspected shooter as of Saturday morning. The Austin American-Statesman is not including the description as it is too vague at this time to be used in identifying the shooter, and such publication could be harmful in perpetuating stereotypes. If more detailed information is released, we will update our reporting. Well, I'm curious. If it were,
you're fucking a white male!
Would they release the vague description? I don't know. I don't know if they're protecting, because, it doesn't just protect, it protects everybody. It protects black people to release the description of the shooter. Do they not want to protect black people in Austin? What if the shooter does this again in another area and they didn't release the description and nobody knows, it does, it's, oh good Lord. Anyway, let me close Ace here. Judge halted that debt relief program for farmers of color after the white farmers sued. They did, that is still being held. We talked about that a while back, but I have another article about it. Interesting, this article from the Washington Free Beacon, that a Breyer departure from the Supreme Court could make the Supreme Court more conservative. You know how when, sometimes people appoint people to the court and they don't turn out what they think it might be? Well, the progressives are pushing to get Justice Stephen Breyer to retire, to leave the court, so they clear the way for a more liberal replacement, right? Well, Breyer's pretty out there left. And the recent left-wing push for Justice Stephen Breyer to retire in favor of a younger liberal justice is likely to make the Supreme Court more conservative, at least on the margins. Advocacy groups and liberal law professors are practically muscling the 82-year-old Clinton appointee off the bench with memories of the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg fresh in mind. The liberal judicial group Demand Justice mounted a billboard that read, "Breyer, retire. It's time for a black woman Supreme Court justice," onto a truck that circled the Supreme Court in April. Well, With right-leaning majority in place for the foreseeable future, it's easy to see why liberals want a young progressive stalwart on the bench, but Breyer's unique judicial approach makes him an effective emissary to his conservative colleagues, helping the left salvage victory from the brink of defeat in cases big and small. It's unclear whether his eventual successor will be as effective at building consensus or turning broad questions into narrow ones. Breyer is not an activist fomenting social revolution through the courts. He's a judgmental pragmatist who tries to harmonize with the law with reasonable real-world outcomes. He will consider what Congress was up to in a given piece of legislation and how competing interpretations will play out on the ground, and then craft a decision that aligns with Congress's purpose and sensible results for all relevant stakeholders. This technocratic mode of judging sometimes presents something appealing for a conservative justice. Liberals have time and time again benefited from this approach. One such example is a workday case from the 2016 term City of Miami versus Bank of America, which involved a lawsuit by the city against the bank for predatory lending practices. Miami alleged that Bank of America intentionally targeted minority borrowers for risky home loans. The city claimed the high rates of foreclosure that followed eroded the tax base and forced municipal officials to expend additional resources on policing and code enforcement. It was for the courts to decide whether the city's lawsuit could proceed under the Fair Housing Act. The conservative justices were dubious, inclined to toss the case. Liberals feared the court would shut the door to such lawsuits, which other cities were replicating in courthouses across the nation. The vote was 5-3, with Chief Justice Roberts joining the liberals to sustain Miami's lawsuits, Justice Breyer delivering the majority opinion. While the court let the case go forward, it cautioned that the city must prove the bank's action had a direct connection to urban rot it decries. So it's not so certain. Basically, they go on to say it's not so certain that a new liberal justice would be able to turn that kind of a case in the technocratic way that Justice Breyer does it. And it could be a boon to the conservative side of the bench, or I should say the more conservative appointees, technically, since Roberts and Kavanaugh are a little bit questionable on some things, that they could turn their heads the way that Justice Breyer has been able to do. Anyway, critical race theory opponents win board elections in the nation's top high school. A group of anti-critical race theory candidates this week won seats on the governing body of the nation's top high school after campaigning against the school's racially driven admission policies. Part of the district push for diversity inclusion, Fairfax County Public Schools scrapped the admissions test for Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology in October, and 2 months later adopted a quota system to boost Black and Hispanic enrollment numbers. A slate of 4 candidates opposed to the school's recent embrace of equity, if you ever hear the word equity, run away, won seats on the Thomas Jefferson's Parents Teacher Student Association. Activists who wanted to eliminate Thomas Jefferson's test requirements also pushed for implementing anti-racism and critical race theory-based initiatives district-wide, according to a series of emails uncovered in December. President-elect Harry Jackson, the first Black man to lead the association, told the Washington Free Beacon that if left unchecked, critical race theory will tear communities apart. It's teaching that white people are inherently racist. Jackson told the Free Beacon, teaching that other children are there to oppress you. This is not the way to go. Hey, we need more of Mr. Harry Jacksons on school boards around the country. Anyway, that's good news, and there's more into the story if you want to read the rest. Also, in critical race theory news, San Diego parents rally to stop teaching of critical race theory. If the district is really about uniting the kids, then get this course out of the way. Few policies have united Americans of diverse politics, backgrounds, and ethnicities more than critical race theories. They want it banned for the corrosive and racist tripe that it is. Parent protests at the school board meetings have received a great deal of attention, and examples of parents fighting school boards are streaming through social media. Teachers are protesting against these policies, and at least one has quit rather than be forced to teach this odious material. Parental efforts to reveal curriculum and instruction details, such as the work of Nicole Solis, to gather information on lessons being taught within her Rhode Island school district, are being applauded and replicated by other parents. This truly grassroots effort has now hit the San Diego area. This week, San Diego Unified School District parents held a rally to stop the teaching of critical race theory. The California for Equal Rights Foundation has called for action along with the San Diego Unified Parents to protest the district's multi-million-dollar proposal to promote critical race theory. KUSI's Teresa Sardini joined viewers live from the Board of Education building where the rally was underway. So yeah, good, because here's the problem. Just like in the last article, where they said it's teaching people, it's teaching kids that you are automatically an oppressor if you look like this. You are automatically being oppressed by those oppressors if you look like this. And again, it's that Marxist thing that there's two classes, and the one class must rise to take power from the other class. When, you know what? I'm sorry, kids in school just don't have the power is within them. Instead of teaching the powers within you, they're teaching the power is inherent and discriminatory and oppressive against some of you by the other of you. And it's just, I don't know, it's crap. But of course, Patrisse Cullors, everyone knows, the multi-home owning multimillionaire from founder of Black Lives Matter. Well, she called for the end of Israel, or she had called for the end of Israel too, gives a commencement speech at UCLA. Yay! Do they have it? I don't understand. A couple people were not happy about it though. Patrisse Cullors will give a commencement speech at UCLA School of Public Affairs. UCLA, we do not condone racism, anti-Semitism, or any form of bias, but by inviting her, you do. First Harvard, now UCLA. Am I shocked? No. Am I disappointed? Yes. The UCLA Luskin School of Public Affairs confirmed that to the Journal that Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse Cullors will be giving a pre-recorded speech as a keynote speaker to the school's June 11th graduation ceremony, which happened this last week. I want to see it. I want to listen to her speech now, because this article is from what day? This is from Sunday. They didn't have a recording of it yet. I'd love to see it. We'll check it out later. All right, we're gonna finish up with this one because someone mentioned this earlier. So about that. We talked about this a little bit last week, but I'm going to go into it. Media caught in yet another massive anti-Trump lie. Will election fraud be next? More than a year after the events at Lafayette Square happened, and after endless media claims that President Donald Trump had peaceful protesters forcibly cleared for a photo op, we finally know the truth. Trump was right. The media were lying, and anyone who trusted the news accounts was a damn fool. It's enough to make us start to wonder why anyone should trust the media's insistence that there was no widespread fraud in the 2020 election. I'm reading it off the paper here, YouTube. Don't get me in trouble. But here's how. So yesterday, the Interior Department's Inspector General released a report about what actually happened at Lafayette Square on June 1st, 2020. As a refresher, here's how the media reported it. 1. Peaceful protesters tear gas to clear the way for Trump church photo op. 2. Protesters dispersed with tear gas so Trump could pose at church. 3. Tear gas flashbangs used to clear protesters from Lafayette Square before surprise President Trump photo op. 4. Republicans chastised Trump for ousting protesters for church photo op. 5. Tear gas clears the way for Trump moment at church damage in unrest. Joe Biden and his fellow Democrats repeatedly trotted out this story during the presidential campaign to besmirch Trump. Well, it was all a lie. The park was not cleared for Trump. Inspector General Mark Greenblatt says the Park Service cleared the park to allow a contractor to safely install anti-scale fencing several hours before they knew of a potential presidential visit to park. Also, the protests were not peaceful. As the IG report says, the Treasury Annex building was vandalized. Officers were assaulted with projectiles such as bottles, bricks, and a brick struck a USPP, U.S. Park Police officer in the head, resulting in the officer's hospitalization. USPP officers reported that some protesters threw projectiles such as bricks, rock, caustic liquids, frozen water bottles, glass bottles, lit flares, rental scooters, and fireworks at law enforcement officials. Sounds like a insurrection. 49 U.S. Park Patrol officers were injured during the protest from May 29th to May 31st, including one who underwent surgery for his injuries. The park police did not use tear gas. How about using tear gas to clear out the protesters? Turns out it was the Washington Metropolitan Police Department that used tear gas, not the park police, and did so after the park had been cleared. The Metro Police Department Assistant Chief of Police later confirmed that MPD used CS gas on 17th Street and told us that it did so in response to protesters who engaged in acts of violence against MPD officers after the U.S. Park Police cleared Lafayette Park and began pushing protesters towards 17th Street, the report states. The IG adds that the MPD was not part of nor under the control or direction of the United States Park Police and the Secret Service's unified command structure. There is no doubt that all of this information was accessible to reporters long before the IG report came out. Reporters on the right were covering the story accurately. Instead, the major press outlets simply ran with their Trump-bashing narrative. Facts be damned. If news reporters were doctors, they would be sued for malpractice or worse for this level of incompetence, negligence, and malice. So FTG to the mainstream media again because they suck. All right, I'm out of time. I'm just realizing that. So I'm going to call it a day, gang. Thank y'all for being here. You mean the same Metro Police that shot Ashley Babbitt? Oh, is that who did it? Well, they haven't released that name yet, so we're never going to be sure, are we? So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to go. Thank you all for being here at the Morning Night Live. I'm kind of an abrupt ending, but I just looked at the time going, oh my God, I'm supposed to be somewhere else right now. So anyway, if you'd be so kind and haven't done so already, hit the like button because that's what we do around here, except for Duck Dog. He occasionally hits the don't like button, but that's okay. Also, please, if you would be so kind, share this stream out if you haven't done so already. You can retweet me on or repost whatever I put on Twitter, Minds Gab, Parler, and Cloud Hub, the several social media sites that I'm on. Or you can just click the share button and share it wherever you want. Also, if you thank you for the sponsors of the show today, Bubba Hotep, Don Keating. By the way, happy birthday, Don Keating again. Happy birthday, Henry. That's Renee May. That's 5-year-old. And thanks everyone just for coming in and hanging around in the chat and doing the things you do. I do need to go. I'm going to make a couple videos this week. I got to hunker down and make standalone videos just to get people, give you guys some more content because plus some shorter content that you can share and maybe get some more people enjoying the channel. And but that's that. Anyway, time for me to go, people. I need to leave. My name is P. Oh, wait. I forgot. Also, oh yeah, my Gmail is PDawgKnight also with no punctuation. Hello, furry kitten. What was I about to say? Okay, I'll think of it tomorrow. It's time for me to go. My name is PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.